These ruins are all that remain of the site in northern Yemen. The facility was full of African migrants. Many come to Yemen hoping to make their way to Saudi Arabia to find work and a better life. The Houthi rebels who control the area say dozens were killed when an American airstrike hit the facility.
These are innocent prisoners who have no connection to the war, and tens of them, if not hundreds, are still under the rubble and torn to shreds.
Survivors are taken to a nearby hospital. Facilities in Yemen are already stretched, but doctors here are doing all they can to save lives.
This morning we witnessed a heinous crime committed by the Americans in the Sanaa governorate on the detention center. We received various cases ranging from moderate to critical. Some were transferred to the surgery department for treatment while others are being treated on site. Rescue teams are still on the ground.
The Sahada region is a Houthi stronghold. The United States has been intensifying its airstrikes on Yemen. Washington has pledged to continue the raids until the Houthis stop their attacks on ships in the Red Sea. Hamza, Mohamed, Al Jazeera.
Hussain Al Bukhaiti is a pro-Houthi journalist and political commentator. He joins us live from the Yemeni capital, Sanaa. A warm welcome to you, Hussain. So, 800 targets in 44 days, hundreds of Houthi fighters apparently killed, including several senior commanders, ports and oil refineries in ruins. How much more of this can the Houthis withstand?
It's not about how much of this can the Houthi or the Yemen withstand. Yemeni have withstand a Saudi-led coalition with the United Arab Emirates that lasted for 9 years. They have strike Yemen 300,000 time. And what was the result? The Yemeni actually did not stop or submit to the Saudi, and instead of being at that time under blockade, they are the one now who can form a blockade in the Red Sea. The question is about how long will the United States keep targeting Yemeni civilians and Yemeni infrastructure, claiming that they have killed so many or hundreds of what they call them Houthi fighters or Houthi commanders. They haven't actually mentioned one name of these fighters that has been killed. But of course, there could be some fighters who are killed, because this is actually a war, and people, especially those fighters, are at risk in to be killed by the United States coalition war against Yemen at this point. Okay. And let me as well mention that this type of attack on civilian infrastructure is something that actually United States is supporting the Zionist regime in Gaza. That's why this latest attack on the prison, which has killed and injured hundreds of African migrants, it shows that the United States actually hasn't got a clue of the target or the military installation of Yemeni army here in Sanaa.
Okay, so let's be clear about this. You feel that the Houthis still can have a tremendous amount of resistance in them because they have experienced much worse in previous conflicts. But there is still a big question about how far you think the United States can and will go. What do you think the strategy is right now?
I mean, the strategy of Yemeni army here in Sanaa is clear and simple. They will continue their attack against the United States battleship and aircraft carrier, either in the Red Sea or in the Arabian Sea. They will continue blocking the Red Sea in front of Zionist state ships, and as well continue to target Israel. And their demand is so simple, is to lift the blockade against Gaza to stop the genocide. But we see that the United States, instead of forcing Israel to stop its genocide, they keep supporting the Israeli regime. They even brought all their battleship to target Yemen and to do the same killing that the Israeli regime has been doing in Gaza. That's why here in Yemen, I believe they will not stop those type of attack, and they might as well expand their attack against United States interest in the region, and maybe United States bases around Yemen, because there is a huge pressure and a huge demand from Yemenis here in areas under the control of Yemeni army for the army to expand its attack. And let me just add one more thing, that the United States as well, yesterday they have targeted 3 homes in Sanaa, killing and injuring 20 civilians.
Right.
Many of them are women and children.
Understood.
So it's clearly that the United States have failed actually to stop Yemeni attack, to stop Yemeni blockade in the Red Sea against Israel.
Mr. Al Bukhaiti, let me get another question to you, because talks with Iran, as we know, have been underway in Oman. I mean, Trump has promised to exert maximum pressure on Iran. Presumably hitting Iran-backed Houthis in Yemen is one way of doing that. This is about much more than the Houthis and much more than Yemen. This is about US-Iranian relations right now. Is that how you see it?
No, I mean, this is actually an scapegoat for the United States because of their failure in Yemen. Is the same scapegoat that the Saudi-led coalition with the United Arab Emirates used to claim, and they are linking all that to Iran. Yemen has nothing to do with what's happening in Iran. We remember when the war started on Yemen on 26th of March 2015 by the Saudi. It was supported by the United States, and even though at that time Obama administration have signed an agreement, the nuclear deal with Iran, so the relation was actually good at that time with Iran. But what happened? The Saudi and its coalition with the support of the United States have actually started the war. This, as I said, is a scapegoat because the United States doesn't want to make the Yemenis feel that they are the one actually who have defeated the United States. They continue targeting United States. And just one more thing, that this is not the first time, as an example, that the prisons in Yemen has been targeted by US-made bomb. In 2016, Al-Zaydiyah prison in Hodeidah was targeted, killing 35 prisoners, as well 71 were injured. In 2017, prison in Sanaa was as well targeted. In Damar in 2019, they have targeted a prison for prisoners of war, killing more than 160 and injuring 50. So actually the war in Yemen is exactly still the same. The same US-made bomb are still used against Yemeni, but with different country.
Understood.
Now it is the United States who's launching attack, and I believe that
just to
in the coming
summarize,
hours and day, that Yemeni army will expand
just to summarize,
its
you're saying that the United
States
States has a backtrack record when it comes to hitting targets that are not specifically military ones, and civilians are, as the US continues its campaign in Yemen, paying the price to all of this. Hussain Al Bukhaiti, many thanks for joining us on Al Jazeera.